Well, folks, we're live on Thursday night. It's been a few days off, relaxing. That's why the podcast hasn't been up and running. But I'm back to have a chat with Keiser tonight on Facebook Live, X, and YouTube. Keiser, welcome back. Last time I spoke to you was Easter Road after that result.
Yeah, it was, legend. Thank you for having me.
Aye,
Amazing. Sorry, bro. My son's just charged in the background there. He's in
nah,
getting a toy.
great. You're grand, you're grand. Well, look, we've loads to talk about tonight. The big game coming up on Saturday against Kilmarnock. Players' contracts, who to start on Saturday, the ticket fiasco going on as well, and then Mark Lawwell, the speculation about him as well. So, anyone that's tuning in, don't be shy to drop a comment below, and we'll answer it as well about the big game happening and the other stuff that's happening as well, right? So, before we went on live, we were chatting about obviously the game on Saturday and other matters. Where do you want to start off? You want to talk about the Kilmarnock game?
It's up to you, Keith, legend. I'm just making sure everybody's cleared away and gave us a bit of peace there. As per usual, bro, half an hour a piece, and then someone comes walking in the room as soon as you go, let's go live. Thanks for being here, legend.
It could be worse. Could be out in the middle of the street and someone trying to take the microphone off you or something. So it could be worse.
True, legend.
Right.
Whatever you want, Keith. Whatever you want to start. Whatever you want to kick it off, legend.
At the end of the day, looking at what's ahead, like we're basically joint top now, even though we're ahead with goal difference. I'm not feeling nervous. I think we're at the kicking into gear. You know, after the weekend, I know it was the cup. After the weekend, Kyogo getting that goal, that was a fine Kyogo finish, and then Moyeda getting on the goal sheet, score sheet as well. We're getting there.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
It's crazy to think, as I said to you after the Ross County game and all. I know the football hasn't been the most comprehensive style of football. We're still winning. 9 wins in the trot. You know?
Yeah, Keith, bro. Yeah, as you says, bro. I believe Neil Lennon highlighted it in the post-match coverage, and he said 8 wins and 1 draw. Now 9 wins and 1 draw. Sorry, and he highlighted it and said that like a reality check to Celtic fans. Crisis mode, as the press would make you believe, or as social media would make you believe, but is it really crisis mode when you're got that sort of record? You know what I mean? Brendan certainly seems to be back to box office Brendan, and that's what we want to see. Press conferences and after the games, he's interacting with fans, he's giving it his all. Box office Brendan, that's what we need.
That's it. As this, big 14 games left in the league, 2 derbies in there on top of that, and we've got the likes of Easter Road done and dusted now. We've got Bataudry done and dusted now. We have to go back to Tynecastle. The big difficult games are out of the way, and it's just about getting the home form right. And then when you think about it, the games we've lost, like the Hearts, and then dropping points to St. Johnstone and Motherwell, we just need to fix them results. And what you're being fix them results is at the end of the season, make up for them dropping them points and winning every single game and winning them 2 derbies. Like, look, we dropped 10 points realistically of all them matches that we fecked up on, but I think with the likes of Kyogo starting to click up with Eden, you can see the pressures off him. Like, I thought Ida done well in Paisley, holding the ball, tracking back, trying to win the ball back, and we were unlucky not to score. A couple of chances that just went wide and test the keeper, but it takes time. It takes time to click in.
100%, Keith. It's like the old medieval part in it when storming a castle and they've got big gates. Okay, you want to attack that with your finest possible weapon. And I've always said this, bro. Kyogo is a sophisticated lockpick designed for unpicking European defences. His movement, the way he's always alive to the play, it's unbelievable. But there's a time for a lockpick and there's a time to kick the door off the hinges, bro. And that's what Ida seems to be bringing. That what we've been lacking since Giamakis left, that physical presence, that big battering ram that's knocking down the door while Kyogo comes into finesse. That Kyogo, I only hope, can profit from that, bro. And what we've seen from Kyogo as a deep lying number 10, coming in and finding that finish from Palmer, Also, Palmer finding him as well. Only hope we can see more of that. You know what I mean? Because Kyogo definitely needs to start firing. He is the one variable. He is the one player of quality that we have over and above anything anyone else has. He is the difference maker. He is the hunt scalper. He is the.
Am I phrasing? I'm trying to get into the darts I was tonight. That's what the situation was. Darts. Some players don't get it right this season, but look, Greg Taylor should be back for the weekend. Obviously, Rodgers will have his press conference tomorrow. He'll give us an injury update in Johnson as well. See how his fractured cheekbone's getting on. Okay, it was always going to be a difficult game last Sunday against St. Mirren, and you have to give the praise as well to Joe Hart. Some big saves in there. Yet again, he's starting to show up as just the leadership that we were looking for.
Yeah, 100%. Keith, I actually have quite a large social media on X or Twitter. I've got a few thousand followers, like bigging up myself, big-headed Keiser, you know what I mean? But I actually flung it out on social media saying, okay, Avicii and Hey Brother playing with Joe Hart's clips and saves from all of his time at Glasgow Celtic as he boards a horse at the end of the video and rides off into the sunset with a cowboy hat on, given the rumours that he's headed for America at the end of the season. Kind of poignant and believable. Will you be happy to see the back of Joe Hart at the end of the season? Or would you be happy if he signed for a year extension? Even if we brought in
I think it'd be a disappointment. I think it'd be that kind of disappointing, similar to what happened with Gordon, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of people also said that on that post, Keith, right? They says, we let go of Gordon too soon. We released him too early. And then other people came in and said Gordon was atrocious. And I was like, really? I think it takes a special keeper to pull off world-class saves after 60 minutes of inactivity. That's what Celtic struggle with. We seem to see these keepers like Siegrist, who are amazing keepers under barrage when teams are attacking them or when our team is attacking them. Like we've seen the Ross County keeper the other night at Ibrox. Amazing keeper under barrage. Like, although he conceded 3 goals, he probably kept out 9. Absolutely amazing. But is he the kind of keeper to maintain focus when he's had 0 activity for 60 minutes and then enter the fray and pull off a world-class save like Joe Hart does, like Craig Gordon does? I don't know, you know what I mean, Keith? Sorry, mate, I can't read them and talk at the same time.
No, it's good. It's good. It just reminds me of like some crazy passes going on the super scoreboard or something. So I want to know in the comments, would you keep Joe Hart as a number 2 capacity in the summer, or would you let him just go off in the sunset to the MLS, let him go over there and play the rest of the year too?
Given the option, right?
I personally keep him. Look, he has been a heart attack at the same time, but look at the saves he has pulled off in his career at Celtic. You look at the saves he done in the League Cup final against Hibs, Derby saves, you know. Some really good saves in there. Like, people always pick out the negatives instead of the positives. And yes, his distribution is not the greatest, but Gordon's wasn't the greatest, and Gordon done good moments for Celtic.
Like I was always taught, Keith, right? Like my mother always taught me is you'll meet two kinds of people in life, right? One person will chart their life from misery to misery, and they'll be like, "Oh, last month my budgie died, and the week after that my granny died." And they'll tell you their life from misery to misery. And then another person will tell you their life from positive to positive. You know what I mean, bro? It's my daughter's wedding, and he'll leave out the negative things that happened in between because he's a positive person. I feel it's very much like that. You know what I mean, bro? Are you a negative person or are you a positive person? It's very subjective. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm sure people are enjoying the chat so far. Yeah, look, Martin's making a great point. Get Gallagher in. Like, I know Klopp turned around and said that Gallagher is the world's best number 2. Quote him as the world's best number 2 because he's been in Liverpool such a long time. But he's looking to get first team football. I know he played the weekend for them and stuff, but it's the wage, and it's the package you sell him. he knows what Celtic's all about, obviously being from Cork and stuff, but it's the wage, there's no, like, he could stay in the Premier League and go to, an argument's sake, like a Wolves or a Villa. No, it won't be a Villa, like a Wolves, and he could go there and make, 60, 70 grand, or you can go to Celtic and probably get 35 grand. It's about the ambition. And we're going to talk about the board and the recruitment side of it, because a lot of people are still angry at the board, still disappointed at the board, not because of January, just in general, the last 3 years and so. And we'll talk about, look, everybody's entitled to their opinion on this. And we're not going to criticize people for saying, oh, well, look, I back Lawwell, or I hate Lawwell, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. These are all his opinions. These are more welcome to. And we're not going to name and shame people. We're all going to pin this up, and we're going to vent and look forward to. At the end of the day, we're in a great position. We're still top of the league. There's 2 derbies to go. We're not, as much as I hate saying it, but we're not competing in Europe. That's not a distraction for us. We just have the Scottish Cup to compete in and the league to compete in, and just count down the games and tick them off. That's the way it's going to go. It is going to be a nervy end to the season, but prepare for it. We've been in the position before, and we've done it. We've either succeeded or failed.
Stop knocking down the dominoes 10 yards down the line, because that's
let's get you the first brick, and which is Kilmarnock.
That's what I was going to come on to, bro. Like, how we see the competition right now, and how that is developing, and how the competition is going to, how they are going to manage playing European games and also try to compete in a domestic front. Nothing about that has been mentioned, bro. You're like literally one of the first person.
But remember
thought and saying.
Do you remember there was a team that before they passed away that played in Europe in this 07-08 season, and we went on to beat them in them 2 final games.
Exactly.
And they were competing in Europe and competing in the cup and whatever, and it benefited us. And we got the
exactly. And just I see chat.
And on top of that was for Tommy Burns as well. Obviously, the fight in the Celtic squad to go on and do that.
100%, Keith. I see chat reacting to the comments about Keller as well. Actually said to people, I believe Keller is around 27 years old. Is that right, Keith?
26, I think. I think it's 26.
25
or 26.
People were highlighting, saying, if Celtic were to sign this keeper, he would be 20 million. And I was like, so a 27-year-old keeper at 20 million, say he comes in and he's Celtic number 1, how long does he stay number 1 for at Celtic?
25, 26 in November.
You get me, Keith? Someone turning 26 coming in as Celtic's number 1, how long does he stay number 1 for at this club?
Well, you look at, there's no way we're going to spend 20 million on a keeper. But for example, we go out and spend it. We break the Edward fee for a keeper. I know some fans will think that's ludicrous, but we're going to have to eventually break that fee. And if you want to get a 25-year-old in the summer, where you know that you could make value on, if you give him 3 seasons at Celtic, he can jump back down the road in England, and he's making the money, but also he's winning those trophies in the meantime, and we can plan maybe 3 or 4 years with him.
As much as we are all in love with the beauty of football and the forward craft and strikers, right? We all are in love with strikers and striker play and winger play, right? When we look at Celtic squads that have actually managed to achieve anything, there's been a key aspect that has been a key feature, and it's people like Fraser Forster and Arthur Borich, and having that rigidity at the back, having that cement that is locked in stone, a quality keeper who you can build your house on. They always say, woe betide the man who builds his house upon the sands. So don't build your house on sands. Let's build from a strong foundation, get that ball playing keeper that we need. If this guy's coming up for 27, Keller, he could be the Celtic keeper for the next 15, 17, 12 years. Does that not make financial sense at 20 million? When you stack it against 12 years, what's that? 2 million a year, 1 million, 1.5 million a year. That is absolutely chump change.
It's trying to get the blood out from the stone though with the Celtic board. That's the problem. Like, I can't see fans saying, right, look, it's spend 10 million or 12 million on a keeper if it's long term, if he's at 25. We look at it as a long term perspective, but it's the question that is the problem at the moment is the board. It's the recruitment. Do you think Queevy and Keller is actually on the Celtic on Brendan Rodgers' wish list?
I
And do
think
you think that the board are actually looking at it and saying, "Oh well, you know what? We'll address this in the summer, and we'll try get him. I know there's like 2 years left in his deal. We'll try get him because let's be honest. I'm sure Celtic have sat down with Joe Hart and said, look, your contract's up. We're renewing players' contracts now.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing quite well. Here's an option. You can stay at the club for 10 grand a week for the next year, and might be able to give you some sort of, because I know there's fans been saying let Stevie Woods go and bring Joe Hart in. I think that's very premature. Why would you get rid of someone that's accomplished so much? As you said, the likes of Fraser Foster, Craig Gordon, Arthur Borich. He was the goalkeeper coach of these keepers. You know?
Yeah, exactly, bro. He's
And what
coached
happens
many a fantastic player.
since he's been there? How many trebles have he won? Why would you just dump someone out like that? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to dump the people who are actually doing their job. You know what I mean, Keith? When you can actually mark results and progress, and okay, everyone can go and say, "Well, what about Barkas?" You know what I mean? But what about Barkas?
But that's the chances, like folks. Regardless who we bring in, if they're going to be gems or duds, that's the chance you play in football. You're doing football. Like, yeah, he was a dud. Barkas was a dud, and we question the recruitment. But look, just comes and goes. You just need to move on from these players. We could have a list of players that just never worked out with Celtic, and that's just a business. Simple as that. Players come and go. There's no point holding on to the worst players that we've ever had. We need to think about the most positive players that we had and what they brought to us. Because I'm not sitting here dwelling about, oh my God, we wasted 5 million on Barkas. Oh my God, we wasted 5 million on Yeti. Who cares? We still went on and won trophies. Not that season, that particular season, but we still went on to win trophies after it.
It's like the more I think of it, Keith, right? It's the more I think of it, right? When you look at a squad to develop young talent, Celtic seems to be like a great club to develop young talent, right? But see, at the same time, when you really think about it, there's better clubs in the world to develop young talent than Celtic. What Celtic brings, well, the SPFL is not exactly the highest competitive standard. It brings a pressure from the fans, that pressure to win, that forged in fire. That's what other clubs look for. You know what I mean? There's countless clubs around the world with great players, but their players don't know how to be winners, bro. That's what are forged at Celtic Park. Winners are forged at Celtic under the scrutiny of the crowd. And if you can't take the pressure of the Celtic fans, you can't learn and develop in that way. That's what we see coming into the club. Players that learn and develop under the pressure of a fan base. And that is the key aspect. But Celtic and that scrutiny, that's not conducive to developing young players like Mikey Johnson and things like that. That's why
look at Mikey's doing all right. Mikey's doing all right in West Brom, and I think we all wanted that Mikey Johnson loan move. We all wanted it. Like, I know there's probably 10% of the fan base like, oh, keep him on the roster, let him prove himself. He's had too many chances.
Sorry, Keith, I thought it was Swansea.
West Brom. He's had 2 goals already for West Brom.
Yeah, I seen a post saying he had scored within 30 seconds his first game. I was like, let's go, Mikey.
And that's it. And let's be honest, the Championship is well more competitive than the league that we play in. Look, it's some of the most unpredictable leagues in the world, but I'm delighted from. I am delighted. And if it's a case that at the end of the season he does go his own way, that's it. It's
exactly.
what we have in order. And you were saying, touching on Palmer. Palmer's starting to get there. You know, he has been very hot and cold. And you go back to the game against Kilmarnock back in October, he scored an absolute cracker against them. That's when he started hitting the form.
Exactly, Keith. I think at that stage, Palmer was kind of telling himself he had to rise to the boil alone and sort of pick the squad up and carry it in respect to forward play. That's why we've seen him cutting inside so much.
You look back to that final game, the opening game of the Champions League. There was a lot of pressure on him that night. I remember,
exactly, bro.
And he just couldn't.
I think that's why we've seen him cutting inside a lot, Keith, and taking on the shots. And now, well, evidence from the last game seems to be highlighting that he can look to his striking partners to also share that burden, and he can lay a ball off, sacrifice a ball or two. He doesn't need to come inside with every single ball. God knows, I wish we would play a right-footed winger on the right-hand side, so he would hit the byline and cross the ball. You know what I mean, Keith? It seems to be the bane of my life. I'm like, just cross the ball.
But that's what's happening. Like I've said on the podcast, I was like, why be playing Con on the right hand side? No, that's his preferred position. He's left-footed. Play him on the left. Let him and Palmer fight for that short. That's what it should be. At the end of the day,
I'm solely right-footed myself, Keith. And if you let me walk up to the manager and pick my own position, I'm going to place myself between the midfield and the strikers on the left-hand side. So every ball I pick up, I can cut inside and take the first-time shot, where the only thing that I've got is a right peg. And see, if we wanted to do that, we would have utilised David Turnbull, bro, because that's the exact weapon that he had, a shot from outside the box. We could have done that. We could have utilised that weapon. We could have played him in that sort of floating role on the left-hand side, cutting inside and having shots. But we didn't. We're more intelligent than that. I like to think the manager has more craft, and his style of football has more craft to it. So we want the wingers picking out the strikers, utilise our best weapons in the best positions.
Well, that's a lot of people have been saying it, even before the Ida came in. We need to change the style of we changed the system of football. Some were saying 3-5-2. Some were saying go old school, go 4-4-2. You know, because majority of these teams that you're going against are prepped in their head, right? Look, Celtic are going to have a lot of possession. They're going to try hit the flanks. They're going to have that lone striker, and now we have the option there. And you heard in the press conference that Brendan is open to trying different styles, and he's tried in the last 2 games. And it's working. Look, it's not the most exciting football on the eye, but it's ticking the box. And if it's a case that we win this league by 1-0 or penalty kicks and down the 9 men, I don't care. Once we win the league,
I don't care, bro.
As long as we cross
over the line, 100%.
Simple. I know.
Like, I was on the page. I was on the page, bro, where people wanting to switch up the formation for a bit of freshness. But like, I'm marked as being psychopathic, bro. I wanted Celtic to play the formation of the Lisbon Lions. I wanted to play like a 2-4-4 domestically against teams that are entrenched on their own area. Like Jock Steen pointed it out the best. Against ultra-defensive football, you need to play ultra-attacking. I wanted us to play that domestically. I didn't want us to be that naive in the Champions League or in European football, but that's the balance that I thought Brendan would bring.
Our problem is we're a midfield department. I don't think we have a solid midfielder that's not afraid to get stuck in a tackle. People say Callum McGregor. I just feel like we never had a Wanyama or a Brown. We haven't replaced like someone that's a fighter in there. Like I just think Callum McGregor only does it on derby days. That's what I only feel with him. Like, fair enough, against Hibs, Easter Road, showed glimpses of it, but we need someone. You need to have that faith in the midfield. You say, right, you hold back in that defensive midfield, and you know that someone's going to come at you, bark at them, snatch it. It's just you've seen it this season with Callum McGregor. Some of the goals that we've leaked, that he falls in the last hurdle as well.
Yeah,
he's trying to do the legwork for the defense on top of them, making a mess. And we just need that. That's a position big time you need to invest in the summer, is a defensive midfielder. Lacking it big time.
Well, if you believe it, Keith, right, there is Kwon, who's on loan at St Mirren, and I believe I've watched a lot of people in chats, right? There's a lot of people that come in and chats during the day and they don't come in at this time at night, given that we're a global community. So there's a man called Mahesh, and he came in and said that Kwon, since his loan, when St Mirren played against Rangers, he put up the best defensive numbers of a Celtic player in midfield, given even all the stats for all the Celtic midfielders who played in the game at Ibrox and the game at Parkhead. You know what I mean, bro? Kwon has put up the best numbers for St Mirren, and he's a defensive midfielder. He's a destroyer, and we've not even given him a chance. We've not had a look at him. But everything that people seem to say, we seem to have the answers, but it's always a breath away. It's a season away, a development away. You know what I mean?
You have to go down. You have to go down the route of a Ryan Christie to Aberdeen or a Christopher Royer to Kilmarnock. You have to. This is. I said about I would gladly send Owen loan next season for it and get someone in, because if they really want to cut it and they want that exciting move away from Celtic in a year or two's time, they need to prove themselves as Celtic first of all. And Kwon's been good for St Mirren in that 4 or 5 games he's played so far. and we can reevaluate at the end of the season and say, well, you know what? This guy's actually used to playing in the top league. And I was delighted that he went to a team in the league. I thought he was going to be going to a team in the championship. I thought Queen's Park would have been getting Quan. So it was a good bit of business for St. Mirren as well, because they're pushing for European football.
Yeah, 100%, Keith. There's a lot of evidence to strengthening the rest of your league with your loanees. Not only do your players get experience within that own domestic environment and the football involved in that domestic environment, be it at a more robust level than Celtic, at a more robust club, harder training facilities and stuff like that. Like when Rocky went to train with Apollo Creed, bro. You know what I mean? He took
Rest in peace, Apollo.
R.I.P. Apollo, you know what I mean?
Passed away last week.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I always remember him from the Happy Gilmore movies, bro, where he was Chubbs. And he had the wooden hand. And then he played the piano. You know what I mean? It kills me. But yeah, like, take it back to the ghetto, you know what I mean? Put the work back in, bro. Put the work rate in those players. Let them see what it is like to try and survive at a hardier environment, at a harder club like Callum McGregor did on his loan period. See what it's like football somewhere else, and then come back to Celtic and be re-immersed in that.
It wasn't even a case, but the situation with McGregor was he was on loan at Notts County and Grealish was there at the same time. And as far as I remember, I don't know if you want to pull up the stats there, Keiser. 14 goals Callum McGregor scored, I think, in all competitions for Notts County.
When he was on loan?
I think it was 14 goals he scored for that season. But like the fans voted him like young player of the year and all, and when he was on loan, and they were raging that they couldn't sign him, and he went back to Celtic. And then obviously he made his debut for the senior team in Reykjavik and scored.
Yeah,
yellow jersey, but it didn't have magnets on it at the time. But yeah.
I'm just checking here, bro. His profile, like when he was on loan, I think he had 8 goals in the League Cup, 5 goals in a World Cup, and 7 goals in a domestic cup as well.
Probably the Johnson's Payne Trophy.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is, bro.
I
just googled it on the next screen, but yeah, he's scoring record down there. Like he was on form. No wonder we brought him back, and that's got echoes. Sorry, Keith, to drift it onto someone else, but Bosun Lawwell, echoes of him being a reformed midfielder and absolutely dominating. So that sort of, I'm seeing sort of echoes of the past there, and him being on loan right now.
Yeah, but he's playing defensive midfielder for Fleetwood. He's playing in centre mid. Usually it's a centre back, but I was speaking to his brother about 6 weeks ago, and his brother was like, "Oh, he's loving it down in Fleetwood. It's a good league and all for him." And he's delighted he's playing first team football. I remember he played pre-season last season for us, and people were like slating him against Rapid Vienna. People were like, "Oh, he's not good enough. I wouldn't touch him near the squad." But
I think he was deployed as a right back one in that game, Keith.
Could be right. And then Ralston played right back then.
Yeah, it was always very like when I seen him on the field, I was like very physical, very athletic. Certainly looks like he's got that athleticism and that build to thrive in the championship. That's one thing I noticed about Ida when he came for the championship. He certainly has that athleticism because he competes day in and day out with athleticism. And I've been looking at more and more, Keith, and thinking maybe a little loan to the championship and getting you competing with people who are more physical.
I think to Aberdeen or to Hibs would do wonders for him. I think maybe Aberdeen. I think that type. If argument's sake, we go in the window now in the summer, and we go for the big North Macedonian striker Bojan, and if all can be a part of that deal, and there's a fee in there, I think it benefits Celtic big time. Sending him on loan and maybe putting 4 million in for Bojan, because I'm sure most Celtic fans, after he scored at Ibrox and then he scored against us, were saying, "Oh, we missed the player there big time."
Yeah, 100%, Keith. A lot of Celtic fans I've seen reacting to the Bojan links, right? The Miovski links. They were saying, is he really the quality we're looking for to improve us in Europe? I believe Miovski is 24 years old. Is that right, Keith? And then we were looking at Shankland as well, who I believe is 28 years old or something. For me, looking at the way Miovski took that ball and took his opportunity against us, clearly displays quality, and at 24 years old, why would you complain about bringing that player in? What is there to complain about him? As you've seen his prowess, you've seen his quality, you've seen his finishing ability. He's done it against us, so we are the best team in this league. If he can do it against us, he can do it against anyone. Why not just bring him in?
It's a good point, Ian. There, you're right. I forgot about Scales as well, going on loan to Aberdeen, and Scales played 31 games for them last season. We're going to talk about Scales. There's been a lot of talk that he's in contract negotiations with the club. I know there's been a bit of divided opinion on Scales. What's your opinion on Keiser? Would you give him a 3 or 4 year deal? Do you think would you label him as a first team centre back, or is it just a case that he's filling the void because CCV is out and we don't really have anyone else of that quality that could step in, or is it we're just waiting on the Roski to hit the ground running?
Well, 100% for me, bro. I would give Scales a new deal. When we look right now, right, Scales has came over to Shamrock Rovers. He went a year on loan. He's been at the club a year, so he's approaching that 3-year mark. I believe that, therefore, Celtic can register him against the European coefficient. Like, he's a player who's been developing in Scotland. So it then becomes worth a whole lot more. Given his form, how he's played, how he's developed this season, definitely worth a new deal. 110%. Even if we are looking at Scales right now and saying, right, we didn't expect this, no one expected this, but Scales is the benchmark, right? The Ginger Maldini is the benchmark, right? And if we can look at centre-backs to replace Scales and above Scales' level, and we can acquire them, then let's do that. But in the meantime, let's be happy with what we've got here. Scales is absolutely fantastic, performing week in, week out. He's been our most consistent performer, especially with injuries to CCV and the rest of central defence being rotated so much. He's been the one mainstay. He's the cornerstone of the defence.
And that's it. You have to think about, like, 1 week he's playing with CCV, next week he's getting dumped in with Welch, the following week he's getting dumped in with Lagerbielka and Naroski. It's just being tail upon tail. It's not consistency there with Scales. And if for him to keep that short, even though there's been injury crisis, and being consistent, and if you go on to win the league, I think people need to realise, oh my God, he's actually worked his bollocks off to deserve that contract.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm not trying to be snobby when I say this in any way, but see, when the likes of Ralston got a new deal at the start of the season and Welsh got a new deal, I was like, wasn't impressed. Was not impressed. I just felt like it was just a case like, because they came through the youth system, it's completely different from when Ralston got that deal under Ange and Welsh had that deal prior to it. I just feel like, you'd be mad not to give Scales a new deal. Like,
it's only shrewd financial planning, Keith, innit? How much did Celtic bring Scales in for? I can't remember the exact fee, you know what I mean, bro? But given his performances this season, the fact that he's played for us in the Champions League and not floundered at that level, he's actually survived at that level and thrived at that level, and went on to claim national team appearances, thrived at that level as well. It only bolsters his value. So whatever we sign Scales for, whatever the region of the price marker was, I can't remember it exactly, bro, so I won't quote it. But we're definitely making money if we sought to sell him, because he's got to be worth at least 5 to 6 million right now.
I think it was 500k. Could be wrong. Shamrock Rovers fee. Let me see now. Celtic.
Was it a development fee that we paid them?
Because he ended up playing half the games for them. No, is it? What it tell me here? 100k? Well, 600k. 600k, yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah,
just over $500,000. That's good business, bro. How could you not extend his deal with 18 months left in his contract now?
Scoring his league debut as well. People forget about that against Dundee away, and then he scored in the League Cup as well against Wright Rovers, and he scored some goals already this season. Like, I know people are saying, "What? Always dog me, always this." Like, let him go on loan next season, and if he can't cut it on loan to Aberdeen or whoever takes him, let him go, and then we could turn around and say label him as dog me. I think it's a lot. He has a lot of pressure on him. Yeah, he's coming from the K League. He scored some all right goals, but as I said, I'm just giving it an example. I'm not saying that Aberdeen will probably get him. To give an example, if we get Bojan, I think we do a bit of business in the background and say, well, here, you can have Owen loan for a season with an obligation, an option to buy, and here's 4 million for Bojan, whatever you want. It's just a scenario, folks. I'm not saying that Aberdeen are going to be interested in getting Aberdeen at the moment. I think Aberdeen are probably trying to get Derek McInnes in the door at the end of the season. It looks like to get him back.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Kilmarnock is going to be a difficult game, regardless of our Celtic Park. They've already beaten us twice this season. Their heads are going to be up.
Yeah, that's the big game right now, isn't it, Keith? It's not only next on the agenda, but as the big game. This is where we've dropped points in the past, and this is where we need to lay down a marker, in my opinion.
It sounds a bit low level. Some fans are cringe when I say this, but it is a revenge game in my eyes because they took the points off us before Christmas, and also they knocked us out of the League Cup. I'm looking that way.
Well, they earned their victories, bro. I can't say I would love to point at those. I would love to point at those results and say Celtic underperformed, and we were just completely not at the races. I think there was a little shade of jaded tiredness and stuff around the squad, but at the end of the day, Kilmarnock earned the League Cup victory, and if there was any doubt about that, they also turned us over in the league and earned that victory as well. So that kind of crossed the T's and dotted the I's for me. We need to ensure that we give them the proper respect and just go out and get this game done, bro. We need to lay down a marker and say
an early goal, because I think the anxiety kicks in when we're 0-0 at half time. I think we all start feeling like, oh Jesus, this could really go against us. They could get a set piece, or it's just the early goal. 100%, and I think that's it's going to be a scrappy title win this season. And okay, bring it on. I think a lot of us have been used to winning the league by double points, and it's different. It's a different feeling. We haven't had this kind of title race like this, like feeling like it's going to go down to the wire in years. And that was against another club, So
I'm sure, Keith, if you ask someone like Usain Bolt, who's a world record holder for sprinting, what his most memorable races were, he wouldn't tell you the races where he finished 20 yards in front of everyone. He would be telling you the races about people who pushed them right to the very limit and it went right to the wire, because those are the memorable experiences. That's where you learn the most. I'm kind of glad this title this year is that developing fight. It looks like it's going to be a fight. And I think it's no coincidence as well, Keith, that something else has been brought onto the agenda, a discussion around this stage where it looks like someone else might have a shoe in this fight. They start talking about the allocation now, given that possibly the next game will be at Ibrox, and then the next game is at Celtic Park, and that game could be crucial, and they want as many of their fans there as possible, should they have a chance of turning us over.
Well, they're saying
you know what I mean?
2,550 or 2,750 is being talks of, and I know there was reports yesterday that they snubbed that. It's complete nonsense, but I would not be surprised, because, as you said, they want their fans in the stadium. They don't want to see a full green and white and seeing us scalp them. And we want fans in their stadium as well. At the end of the day, we need to move. I know they started it. I know a lot of people don't want them in the stadium, and I respect that. At the same time, if you want to be back in their stadium, you're going to have to do some sort of compromise. At the end of the day, we can't have a one way or another.
It seems to be that kind of perfect scenario. You know what I mean, Keith? I know they took the allocation away because we were dominating at their stadium and they didn't want to see us.
Because Alton Edwards coming off the bench and banging that goal in. That's what it was.
Because of Brendan's tactical switch and Odsonne Edouard coming on and nailing the nail in the coffin.
And 10 men as well. Similovic.
10 men. 10 men. Brendan gets a lot of credit for that, Keith. You know what I mean? That tactical change down to 10 men, and he puts on another striker.
When things are going on, people forget about them big games that you done in the past. People don't think of them historic games of trashing them 4-5-1, beating them on Mother's Day 3-2. People don't forget about that. We all forget about. We just think of the now and what's going wrong. Oh, we need to strengthen this. We need to strengthen that. And I'm one of them people at times, but I'm starting to see. You know what? We're top of the league. Who cares?
Exactly.
Who cares about them? Who cares that?
Nobody cares, mate.
I didn't.
Nobody cares.
I'm sitting there last night and I'm like, I don't give a shit. It was predictable they were going to win. I was like, I don't care.
Exactly.
I'm only caring about us beating Kilmarnock. I don't care about us beating Motherwell next week, and that's going to be a difficult one to be seen. You know,
coming up as well, bro. I grew up in Ibrox in the 1990s. As I said to you, Keith, earlier on before we went live, I had to watch here in this local area while it was flooded with mutants every second week, coming claiming title after title. Celtic being robbed, I felt, while Rangers threw up the Iron Curtain and then snatched a goal at the end of games and claimed title after title. I suffered that, bro. See, now I sit here in the right. I don't care that we're joint top and it's only alphabetical that Celtic are top of the league. We're still top of the league, bro, and I'm still looking down on the Rangers. It's just as simple as that.
Four goals in it, Keiser. 4 goals in it. And at the end of the day,
the head-to-head record as well, bro. I'm counting that. You know what I mean? We bet them twice, home and away. Head-to-head record is getting factored in.
100%. And yeah, it is. Some people think it's squeaky bum time, but I'm not thinking about that until the next derby. I'm just thinking about playing the opposition in front of us. Motherwell have taken points off us. Kilmarnock have taken points off us, and we need to think about what is there.
This is the first time, Keith, right, in my life memory, bro, and I'm 41 years old, right, Keith? So this is the first time in my life memory where I actually am not worried about the derbies, and I'm more worried about teams of a lesser nature where we've dropped points before. I'm actually more concerned about us not turning up rather than turning up in the big games, because all evidence says we turn up in the big games. Callum McGregor turns up in the big games and Celtic fire on all cylinders. But it's these little games which got me looking over my shoulder. You know what I mean, bro? I'm actually more worried about the little ones than the big ones.
Right, we're gonna talk about the starting lineup for Saturday, folks. I just want you to comment below who was your start on Saturday as well, score predictions as well. This is the team I'm going for, Keiser. That's the team I'm going for now. I know my age is a bit more push forward. Don't know why I ended up doing that. So we're hoping that Taylor's back and good to go. He's trained this week with the team.
Yeah, bro. Sorry, man. I'm just unplugging this phone.
Naroski scales. Now, I know people might say Welsh. Welsh played well against St. Mirren, but I would have put Naroski in there, to be honest.
Yeah, bro. I think Scales is like, there's times players come in and they get their chance and they don't exactly shower themselves in glory. But you can say about Welsh is not exactly being criticised that much. He's not exactly setting the heather ablaze, but he's doing the job required of him. And that's slightly more than we might expect at times from centre-backs coming in and covering for Celtic.
Like, it won't be the end of the world if Welsh starts and Naroski doesn't start in my eyes. I have confidence in either one to do the job with Scales. I think, look, Scales does look comfortable with Welsh, regardless of bringing the ball up. I think with Naroski tends to be more deeper with the ball, and that's all right. That's the tactics he's getting. I think Ralston will be in there because we don't know what the situation regards to the fracture of Johnson. It could be up to 4 weeks. We're still waiting to hear that. McGregor is obviously going to play in that holding role. I'd say Matt will be going to play in there. You'll have Palmer on the left, Maeda on the right. If I was Brendan, I'd be switching around as much in the game to confuse Kilmarnock, and I think Ida will be dropping back a little bit more, and Kyogo will be pushing up more forward. So you'll still have the two strikers.
I think rather than taking advantage of Ida being the point man and using his physicality, he'll drop deeper and we'll use Kyogo's sharpness. That's a good option to have, you know what I mean, Keith? Pretty much the exact same, bro, and pretty much the exact same as you've highlighted there. We do think Brendan has said Taylor's back in the grass, back in contention. Hopefully he will be back in the squad, so I'm right there with you. Ralston, I absolutely love, bro. Ralstinho is my main man. I love his directness. I love his passion. I do think, right, in the game against Hibs, when the ball broke at the edge of the area and Ralston slides in with that big slide tackle, okay, it wasn't a last-minute goal, but it's still very much, it's going to stand out as a season-defining moment. And once again, Ralston is involved. Just pure work effort and everything, the epitome of Celtic, everything we're calling out for, everything we need, he's bringing in spade loads. Definitely going with Ralston on the right and Maeda on the right as well, bro. Everything you've highlighted here.
You can switch. You can switch it around. You can switch it around, and plus you got to think about as well. We've Kun as well.
If I was switching Maeda with Palma, I would play Kun, bro. That's what I was going to say, and I would leave Palma off. That was the only change I would make.
Yeah. And then you can bring Bernardo on if Roy is getting tired. You can change it. Like there is players on the bench that can make a difference. I know some people rock a Vat as well. People forget about him. You could take Palma on and bring Vata on, or I could play Vata on the right and put Maeda on the left. There's so much ways you can adjust the squad and do the rotation. But I think, you know what, it will kick Ida on if he gets these, because Ida needs that big game. You know, that way he needs that goal. Like he hasn't played yet at Celtic Park, has he not? He's played Aberdeen away, Hibs away, St Mirren away. He hasn't played at Celtic Park yet.
No, I don't think so, Keith, bro. I think you're spot on with that. Either, like, when you look at his previous record before he arrived at us, bro, and I believe it was like something like 117 games and 20 odd goals, didn't exactly inspire me to giving my full support, right? I didn't think it was a calibre of signing we should have been going out and getting. But at the same time, as soon as the guy was signed, he gets his fair chances, come in. He scored these penalties, what is he now? 2 goals in 3 games. He certainly seems to be effective. He's creating space for Kyogo. Let's hope he kicks on. Let's hope he's a revelation. As I says, bro, let's hope he's a revelation for us and he starts firing goals in. And if he's not firing goals in, let's hope he's making space and using his physicality for Kyogo to come in and capitalise.
He might be a Fortuné. Remember Fortuné banged a few goals in that time he came on loan and then we ended up signing him. Could be a Fortuné.
Yeah. I think, like, I would have loved this, Keith, right, I would have loved this at this point to be having that big name signing, right, in that window, that big striker, because the one thing that I seem to point at right now, the difference in these domestic derbies, right, with the old Seth Covians is Kyogo, that player of quality, that striker of quality, that thing we have that they lack. And if we had another one of them, bro, you could only feel more assured. So the fact that we've went for Ida, I can only offer the young man my full support, bro, and hope he does his best. You know what I mean? I'm certainly not going to drag him down or pull him down.
There's no point dragging him down. He's a player that's coming in. At the end of the day, scored 2 crucial penalties in a difficult game where the manager never beat that team. And all he can do is go from strength to strength. He's still settling in. He knows what the pressure is like. And he's good friends with Paddy Roberts, as he said. He used to come up to Glasgow a lot with Paddy Roberts. He played the friendly there against us last season as well. So he knows what's ahead. If he wants to have a medal around his neck, he has to put the work in. And he has to, support Kyogo. He has to do the tracking back and what he done against St Mirren and get the ball. And if he turns up in the derby days and scores the goal and helps us win the league, all that moaning then at the end of January saying, oh, he wasn't good enough. He played 119 games. He only scored 17 goals. All this shit. People forget about it. It'd be in the past.
Exactly. We'll be looking then at his parent club setting the price for him, bro, because there's no
3 million. You know I mean? 3 million, but it's a lot of work to even convince him at the moment to be even looking at that. I'm going to talk about a player. We've been linked with 2 players at the moment. I'm going to talk about this guy here. This is Che Adams stats. Now, would you take Che Adams at Celtic? 27 years of age. His contract is up. Now, I know we're talking about Ida at the moment. Che Adams is going to be a free agent in the summer. This is his stats at Southampton. 41 goals, 19 assists. Played 38 goals, for Birmingham, 13 assists. Scotland's international, 27, free agent. If it doesn't work out with Ida, you go with Che Adams, a bit of physicality, a bit of pace. would he be the answer for you? Yes or no?
I don't know, Keith, bro. I would definitely be willing to give it a chance. You know what I mean? Someone's coming in as a free agent and they have qualities such as displayed here. You know what I mean? I would definitely give them a chance. Is it the type of signing I would be directly looking for to improve us?
Now
No, you
this
know what I
is
mean? But
now I'm going to ask you this in the way. If you're bringing this player in, are you looking at the stature? Or do you want to prove us in Europe, or do you want to prove us in the league? Because this is what it feels like. The narrative of Celtic fans is whoever we bring in the door is not going to prove us in Europe. They think they need that. We need a bigger signing.
yeah, I feel a lot of that, Keith, bro. Like, I do feel we've been conned a lot in the past, bro, and we've got a right to a bit of cynicism. But like, Celtic fans, what is a big name signing to us these days? Is CCV and Jota the height of their spending power, or is that what the board would like us to believe is the height of our spending power? You know what I mean, Keith? Can we bring in better than that? Can we push the boat out? What's the difference between signing players at 5 million and selling them for 10 million? You're doubling your money, and bringing in a player at 10 million and selling them for 20, you're still doubling your money. You know what I mean? You're just getting a higher quality product on the pitch at the time. That's why we're all scrutinising the recruitment team right now, innit, Keith, bro?
Now,
That's why
folks,
we're all giving it a
the only reason I'm going with the story was actually Hell 67 brought the story up tonight. So I just going off their feed and looking at would you go with Che Adam. Personally, my honest opinion on Che Adam, I wouldn't go for him. Looking at him in a Scotland shirt, I know international football is completely different than you look at the stats there. I don't think he is the answer for us domestically or even near European. I would put the faith in Ida to do well, clear all out and go for another striker, go for someone on a permanent basis as well. I'd be looking to get signed 2 strikers in the summer because Kyogo's 29 and you never
It's
know
just
what could
so
happen around the corner.
depressing, Keith. It's so depressing. You saying that name and that being presented as an option, and the sheer depression of it, bro, just reeks our
It's
board and Peter Lawwell right now.
it's the young model, isn't it? Like I know
I've
Che Adams
already
not young.
accepted
It's a
it. You know
young
what I
model.
mean, bro? It's happening. I've already accepted it.
Like if I had my way, I'd be going in for Bojang, and if Ida helps us win the title and scores, argument's sake, 10 goals, and you see that he could score in the big games, the derby games, and lifts the points, why not take a crack at him? You can do it in the title race, and things will get better and better from him.
Yeah, you got to take care of the domestic bread and butter. You know what I mean, Keith? That's what we're looking at now. We were all thinking about European progression and how Brendan was going to advance us in Europe, and are we going to be in Europe after Christmas? Well, we're not, and we're looking at the domestic environment, and now we're thinking, do we have enough quality for there? No, that's not the right place to be.
I'm not even thinking about European football. I want to win the league before we could even think about European football. I think fans that sit here in March or April talking about Champions League football for next season, just don't even bother thinking about it. We need to trim the squad. We need to bring players in that can actually have a bit of fight in Europe. And we go back to squads in the past. Like you look at Neil Lennon's team that went on to beat Barcelona. Like there was some proper battlers in that team, like the Wanyama, Ledley's, Lustig's. Lustig was only in the club literally less than a season, and he's getting thrown in the mix against Barcelona. Mishu wasn't a leader, wasn't it?
No.
But he done the job that night. You know, Adam Matthews, just crazy. Like F.A. Ambrose at one point was in that Champions League squad. So like. It's bedding the fight into these players, but that's the Champions League is well off it. We don't even want to talk about Champions League. We need to talk about the bread and butter to get there. If you don't win the league, you're not in the Champions League next season. Simple as that.
100%, Keith. 100%. That's it. You need to take care of domestic business first, and then you worry about foreign affairs. But like we are Celtic, bro. We do love to dream. We love to dream of European glory and achieving and building the squad. That's one of the things that I love about it being a fan of Celtic, bro. We never let the club rest, and we have a right not to let them rest because given the opportunity, they'll rest for 20 years like they've just rested for the last 20 years. You know what I mean? Need to jive them into action every now and again.
Vardavania, he ended up going to Kilmarnock. He would have done a job. Look at short-term job. I know a lot of fans are saying that he would have done a job with Celtic, but look at it's the recruitment department, as we discussed earlier on before we went on air. Looks like Mark Lowell could be on the way out of Celtic in the summer anyway. The reports that a couple of Celtic fan media pages got the heads up yesterday. Don't know how accurate it is. Is it just the case that Brendan Rodgers has sat down with his dad and said, okay, the players that I've identified are not being brought in the door. I need a bit more quality and I need a bit of a change of structure and recruitment for me to work with these people in the club to bring the club forward, in my eyes.
If those reports are true, Keith, like we discussed, if those reports are true, that's only a positive thing, right? To break the influence or the monopoly of families at the club. We don't want that. No, I mean, we've seen that in the past in the 90s. We don't want families monopolising the club. Jobs for the boys. Just because you've got the same second name means you're the head of European and UK-based scouting, even though you were the manager of a golf club. You know what I mean, bro? We don't want to see that. You know what I mean? We want to see the best man for the job, right? Okay, like I said as well, bro, look at what the scouting team has done, right? They've brought in CCV, they've brought in Jota. Jota has brought in for 6 million. He's went out for close to 25 million. CCV brought in for 6 million, close to 7 million. And what are we going to sell him for in the end result? If we do, it's got to be close to 15, 16 million. So, like, the recruitment team on the surface of those transactions look like they're firing on all cylinders. They're Catalina wine mixer. They're getting jets to Miami and giving each other high fives. You know what I mean, bro?
With DJ Kelly in Barbados playing golf on the golf course.
Yeah, they're doing there playing golf with Big Dermot Desmond. He's swimming in the money, bro, like Scrooge McDuck. You know what I mean? He doesn't think we need nothing at this stage. From where he's looking, everything's firing on all cylinders. As a business, we are £80 million in profit. As a recruitment team, we are buying cheap players and we're selling them on for maximum profits. But what we are actually seeing as consumers, as fans or customers, as the club would see is on the field, does not reflect our investment, our cash investment as fans. And that's the only place we can look to change the club. You know what I mean, Keith? As we spoke about earlier on, bro, there is change coming. There is organisations coming, looking to change things. And we can all get a part. We can all be a part of that.
It's mad. It's madness, though, because we're winning trophies and we're successful and we have fans that are actually concerned and saying, you know what, change needs to be brought into that board level. Change needs to be brought into the recruitment level. Even though we're top of the league, we're still feeling like, where's the money? Where's the money being put to? Where is that money? Is that money in a safe? We're never going to see. We need to be invested on the squad. I know people are saying, well, fair enough. It's been invested in training facilities. It's been invested in other stuff. We want it on the pitch. There's no point of sitting there and selling into Gucci, selling David Turnbull, and making a net profit of 5 million and not buying anyone properly. Yeah, Nicholas Kuhn, that's about it. Like, they made the whole Nicholas Kuhn signing out to be a big premier signing. Like, the video was like so PR stunted. Like, even with Abada and Atate, the whole guess who's back and all, like, calm yourselves down. Get some quality in the door. Half of these players are not up for it. Half of these players don't want to be there. And I don't know, it's just a case that they've lost the hunger, that too injury prone, they're not taking this title serious. I would literally have players that don't want to play for this club, clear them out in the summer. Just clear them out because experience is there of winning the treble. This is a completely different ride to what they done last season. Yes, they're top of the league, but they're going to play hard difficult because every team wants to beat Celtic because they want to stop Celtic winning the league. Yeah, they know 100%. It's simple as that. You could go out with a team and say, look, Celtic are going to have a lot of possession. Play them, just not concede till half time, and then their arses will fall in 60 or 70 minutes into the game. And that's what's happened sometimes this season. And we need to have that structure where we've started showing the last few games. We need to have that structure where you say, right, 70 minutes into the game, right, Nicholas Cohn, get off the pitch, right? Either you're going on or whoever's coming on, change it around. Give that fear to the opposition, because this opposition are fancying their chances at 70 minutes into the game. And then
Yeah.
we're looking and we're saying, oh, I had a feeling this was coming. Oh, this was coming because we didn't take a chance in the first half. We were in clinical. So I'm just hoping against Kilmarnock, we've learned from Rugby Park them 2 occasions. We've learned from beating them already at home this season, that taste of beating them, that we can still do it. Let's be honest, the most positive thing is we have players to come back. We have Vickers to come back. We don't know how long Vickers is going to be. If another week or two, or it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks. Because there's no point, as I said to you the other night, no point jumping him back into the war, and he's going to be back out again. We have Atate to come back. Atate has nowhere been near the player that he was last season before. Injuries, form, missing penalties, scoring. It's been so hot and cold for Atate, and we know the potential of Rio Atate, what he can bring. Rio Atate can be a 25 million player if he gets his head right. We've seen with the early days when he came in that door, when he scored that, when he had that debut performance against Hibs, he was outstanding that night. We seen the goal he scored at Tynecastle, absolute cracker against Craig Gordon, and then the 2 Derby goals. We've seen the potential there, and he can only get better and better. And we were all moaning about his contract, saying, "Oh, he's going to go to Brighton, 20-odd million. Oh, does he want to be here?" Clearly, he's hinting a move to the Premier League, and then we signed him down on a new deal. So these players are not staying in the club for the sake of, they're getting better money as well. They're staying because there's obviously a philosophy that they're buying into the manager. The football is going to take time to click, and the most important time to click is the business end of the season, when you go out and tick off Kilmarnock.
Yeah, hell yeah, Keith. 100%. Just echoing there that I see that Plunge wrote in chat as well. If we win this league, it will be the sweetest yet, as we have struggled and our enemies are desperate for us to fail.
100% Plunge. As I said the other night, I goes, this will be Callum McGregor's hardest league and hardest earned league he's won it. Fair enough, the 4 season as a captain, unbelievable, but to win it the way we could do it this season, and plus what's on the chances of 60 million in the bank as well on top of that.
Yeah, 100%, Keith. Loved it, bro. Loved discussing that all night. I could stay here all night, bro. But I got the feeling for the chat and that as well, that we're almost at our time. So I put a bit of preemptive glance into the side there to check. Yeah, bro. All the points, man, that we've covered here tonight. Everybody in the chat, look, thank you for being here. I know it's my man Keith's channel, and he always says it. If you're new to the channel, smash subscribe, smash like. If you're on the Facebook watching or any other social media, come right over to the YouTube, hit subscribe. My man Keith's growing his channel every day. Liking the content helps it get shared to more like-minded fans. So make sure you help combat the YouTube algorithm. Jeez, and help my man Keith grow. And I'm sure, Keith, when's your next live, mate? When will you be back?
Maybe Saturday night. I'll see what the situation is. I'm here this weekend in Glasgow, so I'm not going to the game on Saturday. But if anyone's offering a ticket, I'll go. Well, no, I've moved house, so the funds are gone to the gaff. And I do apologise to anyone that haven't been on the last week. Just been busy times, folks. There's bigger things than football, and sadly to say, but we got to think of other stuff that's more important. But just want to say a massive shout out to Gav and the Celtic World team for getting me on to the podcast last week.
The boys,
8 o'clock in the morning doing a podcast. I don't know how.
That's when they get me up. That's when they get me up. That's how I'm usually on a Celtic way. I take part with Gav and that. They get me out of my bed and I'm trying to get my kids to school, bro. And they're like, right, come on, Keiser, live. It's 11:30 in Malaysia. I'm like, shut the
I'm half 8 in the morning. I'm sitting there like a bag of potatoes. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even talk. And he has me on the show.
It's harsh.
But look, fair play to the Celtic World, folks. Go on and type in the Celtic World and get them a sub. They're going for the thousands. At the end of the day, the different input. Every Celtic channel has different inputs. Some are very censored. Some are very uncensored. And, at the end of the day, we all want to have our input, and we all love the same cause. So a massive thanks to having Keiser on. I'll stay on for another 5 minutes, go choose their questions, and Keiser, hopefully we'll get you back on Saturday night if you're around, and we'll hopefully
anytime, Keith.
hopefully we be talking about 3 points, and hopefully that Chris Boyd guy will be crying eating his killie pie.
Yeah, him and that guy who never ever played for us, bro, and is always on Rangers TV commenting about how they're going to go top and that, that Miller guy, that guy who wears the face paint, but it's fake tan. So hopefully, like, both of them will be crying. I seen him on the TV, bro, talking his mouth away. You know what I mean? Talking about how he wanted them to go top and stuff. And I was like, does this guy have a selective memory? Does he actually forget that he played for us? Does he forget that he kissed this badge? You know what I mean? He's just
so his first two goals was against that old club.
Exactly, bro. 110%. But as I said, Keith, look, thank you very much for having me, bro. I'll get out your face and I'll let you deal with the chat and wrap up
no
your
problem,
show, right, my man. Thank you very much.
I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Cheers, man. Thanks for coming on. Good to have Keiser on. Hail as well, Keiser, before I cut you off the Graham Norton chair. But just 37 years in, folks. Massive thank you tonight for you tuning in. I'll stay on for another 5-10 minutes. I'll have a chat with you just in regards to the Kilmarnock game, other aspects. We all have different opinions. I love the comments from Plunge, from Martin, from Snitch, from Francis, from Nobby, from Tommy. Really good people. And folks, if you want to go an extra level, there is a membership subscription there for 99 pence on the YouTube channel. A lot of people have dropped off. I don't know why if you don't want to support the channel and a membership subscription, that's completely okay. I'll burst my arse off to get you subscribing to the membership, joining that. At the end of the day, folks, it's been a weird week. It's been a weird month. Like, I was sitting back a month ago moaning, sitting back 14 days ago, 15 days ago, moaning about the lack of business we done the window. And now we're still top of the league. We're still in the Scottish Cup. We play Livy at home in the Scottish Cup, and then we win. If we win that tie, which we're favourites to win that tie, we're into a Hampden semi-final. It's crazy how this season has gone. As I said already, roller coaster of emotions. And if we do win this league, I think this league will be up there as good as winning the league back in 2007 and 8. That 3 in a row, that season was unbelievable. The emotions we went through that season, the emotions we went through a lot of seasons, but it's that fight until the end. It's that, the exhaustion of saying, oh my God, yes, it was squeaky bum times. Yeah, I had to order loads of nappies in. Yeah, I had to drink loads of bottles of Budweiser. Yes, I was crying into my scarf with excitement. And, it's that feeling. This is why we're Celtic fans, folks. People laugh on the outside saying it's a farmers league. Who gives a shit what they think? Who cares what they think? It's what we think as fans, because we know quite well we've been here, done it, and we'll do it again. We've won trebles and we've won world trebles. It's a great feeling. Keiser's emotions and just shows that you don't get many podcasts out there in the world. They're all boring, bland, blah blah blah. Like, we're not here to talk about stats. We're not here to talk about we'll talk about what we see as two people in a pub. Oh, this player, he's doing all right. If he's good enough to put the shirt on and bang goals in and he wins us a title at the end of the season, let's forget about moaning about him on transfer deadline day. Let's forget about it. At the end of the day, the scrutiny some players get when you brought in the door. And I think the whole Nicholas Gunn situation, as I said, 3.5 million, it's a lot of money considering he's bought for 500,000 18 months ago. Let him prove himself. There's no point evaluating Nicholas Gunn right now. He's only played a handful of games, folks. Let him settle in, give him 18 months, and then you can judge him. Like, you can judge now. Somebody's come out to him and say, oh, he's pitched, he's this and that. But always, obviously, contribute to the team as well for helping winning games. People forget about that as well. That helped us get points as well this season. Everyone puts a bit of work in, a bit of graft in, and if we get out the finish line at the end of the season, everything we moaned about on the whole season should be forgotten about, and let the people the likes of the Celtic Trust, the likes of Celtic Podcast, the likes of the fans, if they feel like we're not going the right direction by investing in the squad, like in a good investment, like a 6 or 7 million player, like a goalkeeper for 8 or 9 million, let them do the work. We're all in it together. And I know some fans don't like to talk about the board and don't like to talk about banners and groups, and I can understand that you just want to concentrate on what's on the pitch. But we're a fan base. We all need to be in it together. We all need to see where the evidence is there, where a club can boast about 70 million in revenue, but yes, they're not putting 10 million or 12 million in a transfer kitty halfway through a season where we're dropping points every 3 or 4 games. The evidence was there, folks. And hopefully at the end of the season, I won't be sitting there having a rant, having a deck about, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. It is what it is. We have the squad of players there. Let's go on and win this league. Let's be positive. We're in a good position. We've won the 2 derbies against them. We know what needs to be done. It's about beating Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock are going to go out and try park the bus. And that's if I was playing against Celtic and I was a Kilmarnock fan or Kilmarnock player, I'd be thinking the same thing. Just park the bus. Let's hit them on the counter attack. They're vulnerable on the counter attack, and we're starting to you start to see that with Joe Hart, especially against St. Mirren. He start controlling his box power, and Joe Hart is on good form. He's on good form. He's getting clean sheets. Clean sheet against St. Mirren, a decent team, just shows a lot that we're moving forward. We're moving forward, and we're going to get fans that are still not happy, they're still not up to standard. But if we're winning games, we don't need to. Let's just keep the moaning aside. Let's just focus on believing in this squad. Let's focus on getting Greg Taylor back on Saturday against and playing against his former team. Let's think about giving Ralston a bit more praise. Ralston, he scored some crucial goals a couple of seasons ago and helped us win the league. People forget about Ross County, So yeah. Forrest scores goals as well. It will help him to win the league. Of course, James Forrest is a Celtic legend, folks. And I know people don't like to label him as a legend, but he is a legend. You don't go on and play over 470 games for the club and win over 22 trophies. He's a legend. And some of the slack he takes, it's just like, yes, he may be past his sell date in some people's eyes, but they still be part of that club and still to go on and win them honours is remarkable in modern day football, folks. Is remarkable. And he must have something to still offer at the club. Yes, he doesn't play every game. Yes, he comes off at 20 minutes and he might get that assist or the goal, but that just counts. He scored a ding ball, So I think Kun needs to play on the left. 100%, Francis. I agree with you. He's left forward, and that's the way it should be. And if at the end of the day, this whole malarkey of playing him on the right, it reminds me of when we played Ryan Christie on the wing. To be honest, I know he scored 2 cracking goals in Hampden in that Scottish Cup season. The same, it's kind of very similar, the identical goals to Aberdeen and Hibs. But look, folks, I'm going to jump off anyways. It's been good chatting to you tonight, and do subscribe to the channel. I'll be back on Saturday night for a couple of hours or an hour or so to chat about hopefully a good positive post-match reaction against Kilmarnock. My predictions for the game on the weekend, I'm going to say 3-0 Celtic. I think we beat them 3-1 already back in October. I fancy either getting his Celtic home goal, first goal at Celtic Park. I fancy Kyogo adding to his goal tally to bring him up to 13 goals for the season. And I fancy Matt O'Reilly getting a goal as well. Just once we can turn the show on, get the fans positive coming out of that stadium, not feeling like we just scraped it. It was just, as I said, there's going to be games this season where we scrape results, but isn't it putting points on the board and keep us in firm grip of winning this title? That's the most important thing. So, as I said to folks, if you can join the membership, 99p. If you have it, you have it. You don't, you don't. It's just the more members I have on the channel, the more I can give you special shout outs and feel like you are actually enjoying the show as well. I know some people don't have it. That's cool. That's cool. You watching this tonight is a big thing. From Facebook, from X, and from YouTube is a big thing, you know. So thank you very much for tuning in. Do subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow for a video as well. So speak to you all soon. Hello.